Yo, what's up, man? Welcome to another episode of Black Man's Thoughts. Really, a first time going live. Haven't been on here for a while. Shout out to you know everybody out there in Charlotte, North Carolina, people in Tampa, Warren, Ohio. Just everybody out there who just maintaining and surviving the best way they can. That's just everything's kind of crazy right now. We're looking at stuff that we've never seen before. You know what I mean? Stuff that we're gonna tell our kids. I'm going to the grocery stores and saying that there's no food, there's no toilet paper, they don't have a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? It's not random like we're used to, and it makes you ask, like, what would happen if the grocery stores were closed? Would you be prepared? So that's something that we're gonna talk about tonight. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Um, you know, I had to move, so I'm in a small apartment now, man. So definitely, uh, bear with me. So well, let's just jump right into it, man. I had a question, by somebody in the comments asked about Jadeveon Clowney. We know that the Baltimore Ravens have signed, Calais Campbell, and the Brockers deal went down. And people ask, now that he's went down and now they went back to the Rams, which I think was kind of funny, man, how the Rams all of a sudden had the money right there as soon as this went down, man. Like they've been talking the whole time. So I really didn't trust that. Uh, I really didn't trust that situation. I don't know what went on with the ankle situation. I've heard reports that he wasn't responding to the phone calls. They couldn't get a hold of him. I don't know. I don't know what was going on, but even though we're in a situation where we can't really physically get up with everybody, I don't see how the Rams felt comfortable giving them a certain type of money, and we didn't feel comfortable giving them that certain type of money. So it makes me wonder, was this all a ploy to see what he could get and try to go back to the Rams in the first place? So I don't know. I don't know what's been going on with that. I don't really feel comfortable with that situation, but trust that Eric Costa. He was pretty smart with it. I hope he doesn't go out and just sign anybody, but I don't think he will. Dominic Sue, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He would have been nice. He would have been real nice, just to plug in there, man, and let him do his thing in the middle, along with Calais Campbell, B. Will, Dalen Mack. Just that would have been a crazy front. That would have been a crazy front right there. So either way of those two, we missed out on both of them. So now the question comes: us, Jadeveon Clowney. What about that? I'm not for it. I'm not for it. Here's why. Jadeveon Clowney, I remember when he came out, he was big time. Oh man, he's so fast, he's so athletic. But you know, the way I look at it is he's never really dominated on sacks the way he was supposed to. Now you have JJ Watt on one side, and they're doubling him no matter what. The Texans have some good defenses, man. This is not no slouch team. I mean, they've had some really, really good teams, and they've had some great teams actually. So my thing is, like, they had the defense set up for him to succeed, and he didn't succeed. I mean, let's just look at the stats, right? So this is Clowney from 2014 to 2019. Last year he played with Seattle. Okay, 2014 he played 4 games. 2015 he played 13 games, and 2016 he played 14 games. So let's just look at those first 3 years, right? And at the same time, what we're going to do is we're going to look at JJ Watt's stats from 2014, 15, and 16. 2014, JJ Watt had 20 sacks. 20 sacks. And, even though you played 2 games, he had 0 sacks. I get it. That's his rookie year. But, I mean, come on now. I mean, be that fast, be that athletic, to have no sacks, that's very suspect. 2015, he had 4.5. He played 13 games. JJ Watt had 17 sacks. At this point, JJ Watt, those 2 years, he was unstoppable. Those like 3 or 4 years in a row, he was literally unstoppable. Now this man played 13 games. He started nine, and he only had 4.5 sacks. Right. Let's look at. He had one forced fumble, two pass deflections. He had 27 tackles solo, 13 assists, eight tackles for loss, eight quarterback hits. So he wasn't really even getting to the quarterback that much. I mean, eight quarterback hits is good, but when you look at some of the other years, he had almost double that. So let's look at what we did 16. No, we did 15. Let's look at 16. JJ Watt had he only I think that was the he only had like eight tackles. I think that's the year he had got hurt or something. Because he only had 1.5 sacks, he had eight tackles, seven assists. I don't remember what happened that year, but that would be a good year to judge. And Clowney, he had four. He played 14 games, played 14 games, started 14 games, and he had six sacks. Okay, seems like he's trending upward. Okay, so the next 2 years, he played 16 games, 15 games for the Houston Texans, and in those 2 years, he really started to. It seemed like he started to do good. He had 9.5 sacks in 2017, 9 sacks in 2018. Okay, so now he's doing good. He's not getting double digit sacks, but remember, this is a guy who's supposed to be, really doing good. Now in 2018, JJ Watt came back and had zero sacks the previous year, the next year, 2017. So JJ Watt, 2016 and 17 had his worst years. But 2018, when Jadeveon Clowney had 9 sacks or 9.5 sacks, JJ Watt had 16. Imagine you have JJ Watt on one end and you have the Clowney on the other end. You mean to tell me, he has trouble getting double digit sacks? Let's look at the quarterback hits. Those years he had both 2017 and 2018, he had 21 quarterback hits. Okay, pretty good, pretty good. So he was doing good. But then the following year, he ends up going to Seattle, right? He played 13 games. He started 11. He had 3 sacks and 13 QB hits. And now he wants a lot of money. I don't see why it is necessary for us to sign Jadeveon Clowney when his sacks has never been there. Now we want somebody for the edge. We want somebody to really put on a show opposite of Judon, right? Well, the question is, Judon isn't JJ Watt. He's not going to demand the type of double teams that JJ Watt was putting on. So if he couldn't do that with a JJ Watt, what makes you think he's going to do that with Judon? So that's why I'm like, I would ixnay on the whole Jadeveon Clowney situation. I don't see the production there. I think that you're not getting. I think that I would personally rather just let the young bucks go at it. Let Jalen Ferguson, let him trim down a little bit. Let him work on his hips and learn that bend on the offseason and see what he can do. This man broke Terrell Suggs' sack record. You have Judon who broke a sack. I mean, you have two prestigious pass rushers there. Now, if you mess around and get AJ Espinoza, what's his name? AJ Espinoza from college, who's a terrific pass rusher. You have some great backgrounds in rushing the passer. Now, I think a great defensive coordinator knows how to get the best out of those, knows how to get the best out of them. And I think that you can, for a cheaper price, get what Jadeveon Clowney it would give you. So, whoa, hey, stop, car. So I think that that's my bully there, my American bully there doing his job. It's 9 o'clock, so he's on the clock. He's working right now. Hey, that's enough. So for cheaper, I think you can get the production from Bowser, a rookie pass rusher, hopefully AJE, and Dalen Ferguson and Ward. I think that you can get those with that. I don't think you need to spend the money on that on an aging pass rusher who's obviously, it seems like he's trending down. So, and there's a reason why people wasn't giving him this money on the off seasons. Well, I don't see the need for Jadeveon Clowney at all. Let's go to another topic, running back. A question was asked on Twitter. Are we comfortable with Gus? Going into last season, I was big on Gus. I thought Gus was really going to do really good. The season start, and Gus has this little thing that kind of I think everybody sees it. Gus is a big dude who has tremendous talent, but for some reason, Gus, when he gets hit, he a lot of times he falls behind the line of scrimmage. This doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes he just, what used to frustrate me? Jamal Lewis. Jamal Lewis was a terrific running back. But sometimes Jamal Lewis would try to run like he's freaking 200 pounds instead of running like he's 240. And that's why maybe that's just a big man thing. And maybe that's a nitpicking, but I think Gus has all the talent in the world. There's a shame that we didn't give him the ball more in the playoffs. It just seemed like they tried to force Justice Hill into it. And I don't think Justin Hill right now is as talented as Gus. I think Gus is somebody to watch out for because I'll be honest with you. I'm a little worried about Ingram, going into, I think he's 31 this year, 30, 31, 32. Will he slow down? And if he does, a fresh eyes looking through the holes, fresh eyes just running, I think it's going to take three backs this year to get it done. And I really, really believe that Gus could be our best back. He's fresher, he's younger, and he showed you last year that he can trim down and add more explosion. If he can add some strength to those legs, man, even more than he got, my goodness, I think he has all the talent in the world. I think Justice Hill's good. I think he's good. I think they need to get him more out, spread out more. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to run behind a hole all the time. I mean, use his speed, use the mismatch, use it as a chess piece in the sense of, hey, throw him a screen, line him outside, and just throw it to him and let him hit that outside to spread out that outside linebacker. I think that we have some places and puzzle pieces in place. Say that three times fast, right? To really get the job done. So I like it. I like what we got in the backfield. What scares me though is the Hayden Hurst trade. The Hayden Hurst trade kind of scares me simply because uh, how did we win last year? We won last year by running the football, and we had these dynamic tight ends who knew how to, you know, cause mismatch. You have Andrew, who's a monster. Then you had Hayden Hurst, who just as athletic. He just didn't. The only problem with him was that it wasn't that he was less talented. It's just that he didn't have the chemistry with Lamar Jackson. But the defense is new. Running, that boy can run. And it caused mismatch problems. And then you have Boyle's big ass jumping over everybody. He could get the job done too. So then all of a sudden you take one out the equation. Now we know that, hey, if you line up Hayden Hurst at tight end and Andrews at what's it called, on the end of the line, and had Boyle at the end of the line, who you throwing it to? We don't know. Now it's down to one, and you kind of know that he's probably only going to throw it to Andrews. So now it's going to be easier for the defenses. So I really do think that it kind of messes up that chemistry. And what if Andrews get hurt? Andrew hasn't been the healthiest tight end. If he goes down, we're left with Boyle. I would be, if Andrews go down, I'm happy with Hayden Hurst. I'm very comfortable with Hayden Hurst. So I wasn't too happy with them trade him. Getting a second round pick is good, but I'd rather go with Hayden Hurst being 3 years in and knowing the system and getting comfortable, having a chip on his shoulder, than a rookie who doesn't know how to read the defenses and doesn't know how to do certain things. If you're trying to go all in and win this shit now, then just go with the people you have. You still had Hayden under a rookie contract. But now if they use that and get a dynamic receiver, cool. Let's see what's going to happen. I love our wide receiver coach, and I think that he doesn't get enough credit. I mean, finally, we have some receivers that are showing talent, showing a way to get open. We had the Chris Moores, we had the Marlon Browns, we had the Aaron Millett's, we had all these different players. Remember Tannen Doss? We had all these players that we had all these hope for. I know I did, and nothing. Now, a previous receiver, I think he's coaching tight ends, which is good. Keep him on the team. But we added somebody who has tremendous experience of coaching. I was listening to boxing, and one of the Mayweather brothers said, it's one thing to be able to play a position, play boxing. It's one thing to be, I'm good at boxing, but it's another thing to coach boxing. It's the same thing I think with coaching. It's another thing that I was a receiver, I know route running, but it's another thing to be able to get your voice across, to be able to teach route running. And that's what I think Ingram, for some reason, he didn't do a good job of teaching or being meticulous on route running. It was too many terrible route runners. It was too many drops. They weren't progressing. So hopefully they're getting a situation where we're really going to start building the receiver room, building that not in the sense of just with talent, but with knowledge on how to run routes, on how to become a complete receiver. We can't always just, oh, we're going to just sign the free agents. I remember one year Ozzie didn't even try to sign a receiver. He didn't even try. He just like, well, we'll just go out there and sign somebody. I think he may have signed like uh Steve Smith or one of the veteran receivers. He didn't even try that year. And it was because they had such a terrible job of drafting them, but not only drafting them. I don't think the problem was drafting them. I think it was problem of drafting too little of them and not developing them. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that we had some talented receivers, but we just didn't develop them. Torrey Smith was just straight one guy. He was a good receiver, never a great, but he was a good receiver, but he never developed our route tree. Remember Mark Clayton? Mark Clayton, I think he went down to the Rams and did pretty good. I think he spent like a year with St. Louis and did pretty decent. Then he got messed up pretty bad and never really played again. But to me, it seemed like he did better for the other team. I don't know. Maybe I have to look at his stats, man. But I just, the Ravens fans, man, been watching this team for over 20 years. This is the most excited for our offense, even beyond the Ray Rice years, because now we know that there's an opportunity. Before we didn't have opportunities. You draft a good receiver. We had Todd Heap. We had Pitta. We had Shannon Sharp. We had good tight ends, and it was just a boring, grinded out Jamal Lewis, Willis McGahee, running backs. What was it called? Not William Green. It was dude smoked a lot of trees, man. Played for the Saints, but Dick traded all with Ricky Williams. Yeah, we had good. We always been running back, central linebacker, you defensive back, you. But with just that offense, man, together, now we got a scary. Could you imagine if they messed around and got that one dude, what's called Riggers or whatever, and just had a track team out there? I mean, we're literally get off the dog. We're literally looking like the Chiefs in purple on offense. I mean, my goodness, we have baby Tyreek Hill and Holly receivers. I think Boykins is going to take another step. I would like to see what he's been doing and him post some videos, but you know what I mean. I really would like to see. I think he's going to do pretty good. You draft two more receivers, man. You have a special team, all under their rookie contracts. You know what I mean. So on offense mostly. So I'm pretty excited, man. Another thing, Yonder. Yonder retiring. Yonder's retiring. I think that now we have to go out there and look at who we gonna get to fill it. Is it gonna be Powers? Are you ready for Powers? I don't know. I don't know if we're ready for I saw my Ravens logo. I don't know if we're ready for Powers. Powers didn't play a game last year. That says a lot. We needed help at guard. We need help at center. He didn't play not one game. So, I know a lot of people's like, oh, Powers, but we don't know what we're going to get. Powers was a great guard in college, but we don't know, man. You playing against in the AFC North, bro. You're going against Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Cincinnati. Forget their record. They're designed to try to rip your head off. The hardest freaking division in all football. I don't care what nobody say. Don't look at that record, man. AFC North, by the time we get to the playoffs, man, everybody has went through fire just to get there. You know what I mean? So 10-6, 11-5. I mean, these are good records because the division, the competition on defense and the players is in that division is bananas. So always said if the Patriots would play in the AFC North, they wouldn't have that success. I'm not saying they wouldn't be successful, but I just think they would have had a lot more injuries. And by the time they got to the playoffs, man, they would have just been, their bodies would have been banged up. I mean, I remember Justin Forsett said after the season, he said it felt like You know what I mean? Like after every game, his body was hit by a truck. AFC North is a deadly division, man. You know, you got to be on your A game. The Cowboys division is a big time division too on defense. You can't. It ain't no cakewalk. Vikings, you know, Vikings and Bears, and sometimes the Packers bring that heat in that division too. But when you got the Patriots division, you got Patriots, Dolphins, you got Carolina, and them divisions are easy. I'm not saying it's easy football, but what I'm saying is that it's not as physical. Get in your room. Get in your room. So I don't know. I just think that I'm ready for the season. And I'm excited at what's going to happen. If I were to draft pick 28, I'm on the clock. Who would I pick? I think since the Broncos deal has fell through, I'm picking either Murray, AJ Espinoza. I didn't forget this man's name, man. AJ Espinoza. Let me see. What's his name? Let's check. See what his name is. Can't check it. I'm on airplane mode. But yeah, I would take him, pass rushing specialist. I also would look at Mims. I'll look at a receiver. Are there any guards that's worth pick 28? I don't know. A lot of people say no. I don't know. Center, I would look at center too because Skurr went down too. We have look up Murky. Skurr went down. Now what if this center go down? Then who we got? Hurst not on the team no more. That's what I'm saying. The line is we need some depth at line. I do think that we should walk out at least with another center and a guard in this draft, add some depth, add some quality depth, man. And some bigger guys. We need to get, build some bulk on the offensive line, man. I remember Steelers was running on everybody, but if you look at their line, man, nobody was under like 213. It was all like 220, 230. I mean, I'm big dudes, man. That's what we need to do. Build up that line, man. Be the bullies of the AFC North. If you want to run the football, you gotta get some people that people scared of, you know. So, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the season. Sign my favorite player, Jimmy Smith. My favorite player, bro. My favorite player, man. He's been my favorite player for years now, simply because I remember the need when we got Jimmy Smith. And people not Jimmy Smith because of his health, but Jimmy Smith has been the key to our defense for years. It wasn't CJ Mosley. It wasn't our safeties. It was Jimmy Smith, because Jimmy Smith before Marlon Humphrey to me was always if he's there, we have a chance. If he's not there, we don't have a chance, because he was locking AJ Green down. He was taking upon those big receivers, man. We forget it because he wasn't a bit all the pro bowlers, but he was all pro bowler. He was our lockdown defender. I remember at one point in time, man, it was him and Patrick Peterson just locking everybody down. But he always had those ankle problems. So having this depth there and finally having Jimmy to take a lot of plays off, he don't got to go so hard. He can be the number 3 or 4 cornerback. He's gonna be there healthier for the playoffs. He got hurt on a fluke injury last year. You know what I mean? So I think it's gonna be good for us, man. I'm excited about it. We're stacked on defense. I love Chuck Clark. I like him better than Tony Jefferson by far. I think he plays. Tony Jefferson was so amped to hit somebody, and that boy can lay somebody out. But we needed somebody back there to be smart and stop the deep ball and cover the middle of the field and be the mouthpiece back there. And I think that Chuck Clark does that a lot better. So I'm excited, man. Raven Nation, stand up. Raven Flocks, Baltimore Ravens. We in here, man. Let's move on, man. We got the Hebrew New Year, come in. We're pretty happy about it. So what we're gonna do this year? I think one thing I want to do is focus on the health, and that goes into coronavirus. Focus on the health, man. I've been following this, looking at this keto diet and intermittent fasting I've been doing. So it's been doing pretty good, and I'm excited about that. And I think it's working. It's helping, especially my diabetes, helping my sugar. And that's one thing I want to say is, like, where's all the health practitioners with this virus out right now? Where's everybody who's saying don't get vaccinations? Where's everybody that's saying let's not vaccinate, let's not do this, let's just take herbs? Well, I think that this is the perfect time for you to say, you know what? This is why. This is how you heal it with herbs. And if you really feel like we shouldn't take these certain medicines, if you really feel like certain things is bad for you, well, this would be the perfect opportunity in the middle of this shitstorm that we in to say, you know what? I have the proof. Here's my research here, my peer reviewed articles, and this right here is going to stop and protect this and help your body. I think this is the perfect time, but you're seeing so much silence from the conscious community. You're seeing so much silence. The only person I see out there on a daily basis is Patrick Dales. And shout out to Patrick Dales, my favorite herbalist. But I don't see nobody else out there talking about maybe Inky. Shout out to Inky, Minister Inky. I think Polite did something, but it's not consistent as Patrick Dale. You don't see it too much. Inky's been a little bit more, but you don't see this every day. And this is every other time you hear debates, you hear he's wrong, he's wrong. You hear him loud. Now all of a sudden nobody wants to be loud. Now all of a sudden nobody wants to be wrong. They're scared. They're scared. They're like, oh, I don't want to say the wrong thing because it might not work. Then I show like I don't know anything. But that's the whole thing about with science. That's the whole thing about with trial and error. You don't know. We've never been in a situation, so it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to say, I tried this, this didn't work. Let me go back to the drawing board. This is why people kept getting sick. This is what they all had. They all said that I was taking this and then I did this and then I got sick. Now what is susceptible to. This is the trial and error phase. So I think that it's a shame that it's so quiet with a lot of these so-called conscious people, and it's so quiet with people who say they have this knowledge, but nobody's saying anything. And it's a shame. I would like to know to hear some people say, "Hey, I've been taking these herbs and it's been working perfectly." And I went out there, I tested it, and I gave it to people who had the virus, and it's healed them. It's done wonders for them. They've gotten better. They showed signs. They may not have healed, but they've shown signs of getting stronger. You know what I mean? That's what real knowledge. That's what real wisdom and knowledge is about, man. Not just talking it over the internet, but really showing it in a time where it needs to be shown. You know what I mean? Anybody can say anything when it's not the time, but when it's time for fire, it's time to get into the war, and you all of a sudden are quiet and you don't have the answers and you're not saying anything. I don't want to hear it whenever all this stuff cleared up and say, "Hey, I was taking this and I was fine." Well, nobody knows that. Nobody can fact check that. So this New Year's, man, I really want to sit back, meditate on a lot of things that for the last year I was taking in mentally. I was taking in and what I was learning and fact check it. Okay, did last year's information prove to be correct? Does last year's information prove to be truthful? I think that that's something that as far as detoxing and as far as doing certain things, that also needs to be done to see if what did I spend all year doing, did it help me out? You have to start weeding out the good and the bad of the things in your life and saying that, what, this didn't work. It was a trial and error. Boom, get rid of it or do it more. You know, um, this year I really want to focus on, the language of my culture and the language on in the Hebrew and the Arab and the Aramaic. I really want to focus on that in the Arcadian. I really want to get deeper into my culture, and but most importantly, I want to be able today to every day to come home and say, let me take time for myself. I think a lot of times we come home and we just jump right into shit, and we don't say to ourselves, we don't give ourselves an opportunity to get into something. But I want to come home and I want to say, let me get into something. Let me do something, whether it's just sit in silence, whether that's meditate in the shower, whether that's anything. Just let me just say that. Let me get into something for me. At least 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just for me. I don't care what it is. And that's what I want to do. I want to be more present for myself instead of just thinking things and living day to day on autopilot, think about all this other. I want to be more present in my life. That's something I really work on. And I think that when you're more present, you're more apt to try and to do things, read a book, more things to work on something or goal that you've always wanted to work on. I got some projects that I really want to work on that's going to cost some money, but in order for me to get to that level, I need to come home and I need to focus on what is it that I need to do to attain that goal. I need to just concentrate on that, slow life down and focus. So Definitely, man. I don't want to take up too much time, man. We've been gone for way too long. We was moving, had a lot of stuff going on, job hunting, new jobs, traveling 4 hours a day in the car. It was just hard. It was hard, man. So I appreciate it. You know what I mean? Black Man Thoughts is back. I don't know when I'm gonna do another video. It's gonna be soon though. It's not gonna be. It's gonna be less than a week. Whatever the information come out, man. Even if it's a few minutes, I'm gonna drop something out there. Any news with the coronavirus, or if y'all got anything, hit me up. You know what I mean? Inbox me. You know what I mean? Get on my Facebook, hit me up, holla at me, see what's good. You know what I mean? Or message me. Send me a message on here, man, or email me and let me know if you want me to talk about something. You know what I mean? And just if you have any you know, albums, or if you have any music you want me to listen to and review, you want me to check out some movies and talk about them, man, hit me up, man, and and I'll do it, give you my thoughts on it, man. And I think next time we're gonna talk about different divisions and what we think they're gonna do this year, and look at our schedule and see what was gonna happen, man. And hopefully by then we got some news on, since we're not signing Brockers, it's who the Ravens gonna sign, man. But another episode of Black Man Thoughts, man. Shalom, shalom. Y'all enjoy your Shabbat. Y'all enjoy your weekend, man. Whatever y'all getting into, just thank the Most High, man, that you alive. Remember, I always tell my kids, ain't nothing better than health. Your relationship with the Father, and your relationship with yourself and your health, whether that's mental, whether that's spiritual, whether that's physical. Take time for yourself, man, and try to stay healthy.